This is a New Life Health and Wellness. And with the laser treatment, what we're using here in the office is the Lapex BCS Meridian. This is the latest technology in laser fat loss. And the way that the laser works is that the laser penetrates through the skin and gets to the subcutaneous layer of fat, which is the loose fat that all of us want to get rid of. This does not take care of organ fat, which is something that we wouldn't really want us to be getting rid of anyway. Now, the way that it works is that this is you have healthy adipose tissue, and then once it's stimulated by the laser, what happens is that the pores open up on the cells, okay, and the fat literally comes across the cell membrane and moves into the interstitial space. And the reason that this is great is that really the goal of any diet or exercise program is to get your fat cells to open up and release the fat. The problem is, most of you probably already know, is that as we get older and older, it gets harder and harder for our bodies to do that and let go of the fat, especially once hormonal factors become involved. Okay, and so the great thing about this is that this is going to take that out of the equation. Now, this is a diagram, but I want to show you a picture of what it actually looks like in real life. This is an electron microscope image of healthy adipose tissue. And once stimulated by the laser, you can literally see the fat coming out of the cell and moving across the cell membrane into the interstitial space. Okay. After this has been done repeatedly for a couple of weeks, the fat becomes emulsified like this. And now, just so you know, this is the same laser, this is the same technology that's been used alongside liposuction for the last 10 years under the name Smart Lipo. And what they would do is they would go and laser the fat for a couple of weeks and get it to a liquefied state like this because it was much easier to take out. But what they found is that if a person went through the lasering and then backed out and decided not to go through with the surgery, that they were still getting clinically significant inch loss. So they made this observation, and they did a study based on it. And what the study had showed in a double-blinded, randomized, placebo-controlled, multi-site controlled clinical trial is that the average inch loss was 3.5 inches compared to a placebo who only lost half an inch. So this has been scientifically validated to be 7 times more effective than a placebo. Now understand, this is not the program that we use because frankly, the program that we put people on who are really serious about losing fat and dropping sizes contains a lot more than just the laser. Okay, it is built around the laser, of course, but the great thing that this was showing is that they could just take a person, do absolutely nothing else, and they would laser them 6 times over a 2-week period, and they would show a clinically significant inch loss. Now, I know we were fielding an innumerable amount of questions, and a lot of it was, can I get done in one visit? How long does this take? How much does this cost? We really have no idea of knowing that until we do a consultation for several reasons. First, we really don't know what a person wants or what they're looking to get done. What I can tell all of you is that for the vast majority of our patients, yes, you will get a noticeable result, a clinically significant loss in one session. Is that going to be enough to meet your long-term goals? Probably not. But some people want very little done. Some people want more done. I have patients that come here and they want different things. I have some people that want, they want a complete dietary and exercise and nutritional program, and they want counseling and they want the whole 9. I have other people that come in here and they don't want to do a darn thing. They just want to come in and get lasered and lose that way. And we have options, for either of these. I have some people that just want to come in and do one session and that's all they want. And that's okay too. But for the vast majority of those people, unless you're wanting one small area of your body worked on, even though you'll notice a result more than likely after just one session, it's probably not going to meet your long-term goals, which is why we always have to do an assessment, figure out what it is you want, and then set forth realistic plans to achieve that. Okay, and in the end, you get whatever level of care that you're comfortable. I want to just back this up for a minute and talk about what's happening with the fat emulsification process, because again, the other big question that we get from lots of people, and I love this is my favorite question, is can the fat come back? Guys, you can always put on weight. I say jokingly, like, no, you can sit on the couch and eat donuts for the rest of your life. You'll never gain an ounce. So of course you can always put weight back on. But I think sometimes people have this irrational fear, like we're going to laser off several inches and then boom, it's going to come back in 24 hours. That's not what happens at all. I need you to understand that the fat loss that you get from this program is the same type, the exact same type of fat loss that you would get from diet or exercise. And I make the point because so many of us are thinking, geez, you know, I've got to lose this weight so that I can get healthy. But I can tell you for the vast majority of us, it is the other way around. The vast majority of people are not healthy enough to burn their fat. And then they put great strides towards diet and exercise, and they don't get great. And by show of hands, can I see how many of you have tried to lose whatever it is, whatever part of your body is that you want worked on? How many of you have tried to take care of that with diet and exercise and then been frustrated by your results? Can I see a show of hands? Okay, there's probably maybe a couple people that haven't experienced that frustration, you know. And so, again, the great thing about the laser is that this has been scientifically validated. You can actually see it on an electron microscope. This is going to get the fat out of the cells. That's the great part. So there's a couple of big questions. Is, you know, what happens to the fat once it's out of the cells, and then what are you going to do with the fat once your fat cells are open? Okay, and so the great thing about this is that any efforts that you put towards diet and exercise while you're under this program are going to yield unbelievable results, because this is getting the fat cells to open up. And when those pores open, they don't just open for the time that you're under the laser. Those pores on your fat cells will stay open for the next 48 hours. So when you're under one of our care plans, you're literally turned into a fat burning machine 24 hours a day. And there are things that you can do on your own to stop it, and there are things that you can do on your own to accentuate it. And it's really great because, you know, it's common enough that a person will have a measurable inch loss after only one single treatment. And they get all excited, and we show people that. And, you know, my friend told me before I even started doing this, he's like, you know, don't even bother advertising. Nobody's going to believe it because it sounds too good to be true, you know. And so I found that partially he was kind of right with a lot of that. So we kind of switched tactics, and we're like, okay, let's bring people in for one session. Let them see that it actually works. Let them see that you actually get a clinical result in 60 minutes. For instance, I have a patient that came in yesterday, okay, was all excited about it, told her everything, she knew it worked, and in 60 minutes, we took 3/4 of an inch off of her waist, in 60 minutes. And she was like trying to wrap her head around that. She's like, you know how long it would take me to diet and exercise to get 3/4 of an inch off my waist? And I said, I know, I get it, but the point was that was what we did in 60 minutes. Okay, and so for you guys, once we put you through the laser, whatever amount of loss you get, and sometimes it's really amazing, sometimes it's not so noticeable. I've had patients that didn't get really any measurable loss on one session that still got great results when they went through a 2 to 3 week process of doing this. But whatever your result is, understand that that was the result that you got for 60 minutes. And the laser is, the program that we do is more than the 60 minutes that you're here in the office. If you follow our recommendations and you're motivated to lose more fat, your body is going to continuously burn fat 24 hours a day, you know, for about the next 48 hours, which is why these care plans are typically done 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, every 48 hours, so that just as those fat cells are getting ready to close again, we hit them with the laser and we keep it open. Okay? So what about the people that just want to come in, they don't want to do anything, and they just kind of want to get lasered, they don't want to do any exercise, don't want to make any changes in their diet? Are they going to get a result? Yeah. But they're obviously not going to get anywhere near the same type of result of someone who's going to make great strides with diet and exercise while they're under this program. Because what the laser does, and this is awesome, it opens up those fat cells. Not just that, though, is that it's going to target the exact area that you want. Because even if you make great strides with diet and exercise and you burn some fat, it takes it off pretty much uniformly from all around your body, and it seems to leave it in like the one place that you would like it to get rid of. So the great thing is that this will absolutely open the cells, and not just that, but from the exact area that you want. Okay? And once we've done that, you can do nothing. And where does the fat go? A lot of it goes into the lymphatic system, which will dump into your digestive tract and then out the toilet. But not all of it goes there. A lot of it still gets into the bloodstream. And there's one really important thing that you need to understand about your body's physiology and the way it works. And once you understand this, you are going to understand how you can get unbelievable results, or how you can kind of sabotage it if you want. Okay? Nobody wants to sabotage the results, but the way is this, is that sugar is now energy. Has to be used immediately. Okay? And it has to get out of the blood, otherwise you get diabetes. Okay? Then of course there's fat, which is stored energy, energy for later. So if you have sugar and fat in your blood at the same time, which one is your body going to use for energy? Sugar, obviously. So what's your body going to do with the fat? Store it. It's going to drive it right back into the cell after we took it out, because you're going to have a strong insulin response. Okay? So So obviously, with these programs, there's no eating or drinking anything 1 hour before your appointment except water. Because if you come in here on a full stomach, or you have like a soda before you come in, you're gonna have really high levels of blood sugar, strong insulin response, and it can drive the fat right back into the cell. You'll still lose some of it. Some of it's still going to dump out through your lymphatics, but that's why in order to really get good results, no eating or drinking anything 1 hour before your appointment, and no eating or drinking anything but water, of course, for 2 hours after your appointment. Okay. Now remember that the fat's not just going to come out while you're on the table. Those cells are going to continually leak fat for the next 48 hours. Okay, and so if you really want to get good results, and obviously everyone does, you have to eliminate sugar and alcohol for the duration that you're on this program. Okay? You have to understand that the more sugar and alcohol that you have on this program, the higher levels of blood sugar you're having. And so here's my thing. Let's say we laser one of you today, and hopefully we'll get to at least a couple of you today. And we laser you today and you get, say, I don't know, let's say you get a ½ inch or an inch loss on your waistline. You realize that at 11 o'clock tonight, your body is still going to be dumping fat out of those cells into your bloodstream. And so if you had a bunch of sugar or alcohol or foods that turn into sugar, like breads, pastas, and polished white rice, I know I can get shot for saying that in Hawaii, then you're going to have a lot of blood in your sugar, and what's going to happen to all that fat that's being released from your cells at 11 o'clock at night if you've got a lot of sugar in your blood? Right, it's going to be driven back in. Again, maybe a little bit might go out through the lymphatics, but I want to be real clear as to what this is not. Okay, this is not some miracle treatment where we can wave a wand over you and take off 50 pounds of fat and you can eat whatever you want. Okay. Again, and people that want that, some people I have some people that they just come here because they've got an event this weekend, and you know what, they just want their arms to look as good as they can, or they want to get the double chin gone, or they would just like their clothes to fit a little bit looser, and they can make no changes, and we can do that. We can still take off a clinically significant amount. But we have to be aware of what the program does, and this is a body contouring system. It is designed for fat loss and for inch loss. Okay, so I want to show you some of the before and after pictures of people that we've worked on, that we've put through this program, and I'm surprised that that's the first one actually. Anyways, she's one of our patients. She's a mother of 3, and she's an avid runner. She's running 20 to 25 miles a week. She already eats really good. But it didn't matter how much she ran, she could not get rid of the love handles, or little muffin top, and she had a little pooch after having the kids, And, on day 6, which was after 3 or 4 sessions, her love handles were completely gone, and she continued to lose fat throughout the program. And this is a good example of showing that this program will work for everyone. The FDA study showed that. If you want, you can come in here, do nothing, we can laser you like 6 times, and that's what the FDA study showed. 7 times more effective than a placebo at reducing fat and getting inch loss. Okay, but the program is obviously going to work best for people that are already eating really well and exercising, or people that are willing to make great strides as far as diet and exercise while they're on the program. Here's another patient that we had, mother of 2, in her late 30s, and you can see that she wasn't morbidly obese. She already had a good figure. But same thing, she couldn't get rid of that little pooch after having the baby. And with this lady, she wanted a butt lift, and we weren't really sure that we could do it. So what we did is we lasered right here on the top of her thighs, and we got rid of some of that. You can see that her butt pulled up a little bit tighter and higher after that. The other thing that you notice is that there's a lot of the dimpling, a lot of the cellulite on the thighs was reduced. One of the things, the big things that people compare this to is liposuction. They're 2 entirely separate and different procedures with essentially different goals. But one of the things you need to understand about liposuction is that they go in there and they actually rip the fat cells out, which is obviously incredibly painful. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. There's also another process where they freeze it off, and that's again incredibly painful. There's a lot of scarring and bruising and tissue damage. But what you have to understand is that once you're an adult, you don't make new fat cells. If you gain weight, the existing cells just get larger and larger and larger, and when they get large enough, you get that cellulite, that cottage cheesy type appearance. So as we get the fat out of the cells and we reduce the size of the fat cells, the skin will pull tight and contour. So you see a lot of reduction in cellulite with this type of a procedure. Now, this is a great example of what I was just talking about. This lady, she obviously had great results. 4-week program, the back rolls gone, just a little pinch left. But what you notice is all the cellulite, okay, right there in the low back, it gets pulled tight and smoothed out. Same thing with her thighs. This lady was 3-week program, this was a 4-week program. This lady here, she got great results, but you can't see it from the front. Okay? When you look from the side, you see the belly roll? Gone. Okay? In fact, you can actually see the tan line with where the belly roll used to be. Okay? Back roll again, just a pinch. And the other thing is, like, you'll notice the rib hump here, and how her stomach used to stay way out past that rib hump. Okay? Now, her rib hump is what sticks out the farthest here, and the belly's pulled in much tighter. You can actually start to see the abs coming out, a little bit of definition there as well. You know, with this lady, you know, she already had a good figure, you know, but she had a lot of weight on her hips, and the line that would come down from her shoulders down to, you know, into her rib cage just stopped right there at the end of her ribs, and she had all this weight up here. Okay, and so after a 3-week program, we see that the line contours down much further, and she's just got a little bit of weight on top of her hips. Also, she wanted her thighs worked on because there was a lot of girth there, so we worked on that, and her butt was a little bit tighter and smaller after that as well. Now, this patient, she'd been a chiropractic patient of mine for about a year, and she'd set aside about $15,000. Her and her husband set aside that money for, you know, a tummy tuck and lipo and just like, you know, the whole 9 yards. But after being my patient for about a year, she was really interested in health, and she wanted to kind of, you know, do things the natural way. So she went on our program, and she was on the program for 4 weeks, and huge change. I mean, the back rolls gone, the half moon shaped appearance on top of her hips gone. And I'm a guy, so I'm totally clueless. I didn't even know what a bra extender was, but she told me that she used to have to wear a bra extender to even wear that bra. And then after about 3.5 weeks into her program, she was able to wear the bra without an extender. So obviously, you know, her husband was very happy about that. We already talked about this case. Now, this lady here, surprisingly, her stomach was not what she was concerned about. It was her thighs. You know, she wanted to wear her dresses, but her thighs were too big and she couldn't walk comfortably in them. So we focused primarily on her thighs. And she lost 9.5 inches off of her thighs in a 4-week program, which was pretty awesome. That's definitely above average, and she was working hard too. And we also worked on her stomach, so you can see that the belly roll gone, the huge fat dimple gone, and you can almost see a little bit of the abs coming out, you know. But a lot of the skin was pulled tighter as well, so a lot of the cellulite was reduced. Okay, now this lady, her thing was she had what she called angel wings, you know, all that loose fat that was under the arms, and she had a lot of the bra fat as well. And her deal was that she wanted to wear a tank top, but she was so self-conscious about her arms that she wouldn't do it. And she came in on the last day of the tank top strutting her stuff because her arms were pulled up, all the fat was pulled up nice and tight off of her arms. She was obviously very thrilled. Now these are just some company pictures that were put out by Lapex, and I don't know the exact story. I mean, maybe they cherry-picked these with people that were already dieting and exercising really well, but I don't care what they did. In 3 weeks, 3 weeks and 8 treatments, this lady got amazing results, from a 41 to a 35. Okay. Now this one looks too good to be true, and that's because it is. This is not a typical 3 to 4 week program that we would you know, put most people on. He was on a continual, ongoing program. He had been on treatment for about a little under 3 months. But look what it did to the guy. I mean, he went from a 54 to a 35, and from a 59 to a 37. Just an entirely new person. A couple other ones put out by the company that are pretty good. You know, pendulous abdomen, belly roll, 3 weeks, 8 treatments, you know, gone. Dramatically better. Now, with this patient, she's already really skinny. Again, had a good figure, and, you know, but she just had that little pouch she was trying to get rid of. And I really don't like the picture, the follow-up picture, because the shadow makes it look like her results weren't as good as they were. But when you follow along the skin line, you can see she actually got a really good result. But the big thing that she noticed was that you see the cuts here. You know, she was getting a lot of definition, and her abs were coming out. You know, and again, we have different people that want different things. And I had one of the Groupon patients ask me yesterday, well, you get more fat loss in people that are much bigger. And the answer is really not necessarily, even though they have more to lose. You know, on average, 40 to 60 grams of fat is released per session. And remember, that's only for the 60 minutes that you're here in the office. Your body's going to release more than that for the next 48 hours. So really, I think the results are primarily dependent on the person's efforts that they do outside of the office. They can do nothing and get a small result, or they can really, you know, do well with diet and exercise, and they can hit it out of the park. Okay, but the reason I bring it up is I have a chiropractic patient that's been here for several years, and she's really skinny. She's a model, and when she found out about this, she wanted to do it. And I kind of laughed because I looked at her. I'm like, "Why on earth are we supposed to take fat off of you?" You know. But she had a photo shoot coming up in about 6 weeks, and she wanted to look her best for the photo shoot. And she had, you know, she has 3 kids. Actually, she had her first child, and then she had twins. You know, so she was trying to get rid of this little weight here, and she had the extra skin she was really self-conscious about. We put her on a 4-week program, and in 4 weeks, she dropped a full size. I mean, just had a fantastic result. And the big thing that we noticed, Sarah's not here today, she was the one who was working primarily with her, is that she was skinny before but didn't have definition. And I'll never forget that in the 3rd week, she's like, oh my God, Talia has a 6-pack. You know, I mean, she was just ripped after that. And so she was obviously thrilled because she looked really great for her photo shoot. This lady here, she'd been skinny her whole life, and she still was, but you know, once she got over 50, her thighs started rubbing together, and that just really bothered her. You know, so we worked on her thighs, and you can see how much space she has between her thighs after that. She's on a 3-week program. And then this, the double chin, gone in 1 treatment. Now that's pretty awesome. I got to tell you, it usually will take 2 to 3 sessions to get rid of the double chin, but that can show you what's possible. You know, so people ask, you know, is 1 visit going to be enough? Well, we don't know what enough means, and we don't know what a person wants worked on. You know, will you have a measurable result in 1 session? Almost everybody does. Some people don't after only 1 session, but most people will. You know, and some people obviously, you know, they're happy in 1 session. This lady here had a lot of fat, bra fat around the bra, and she had the love handles, which obviously improved greatly. The biggest thing I noticed in this case was her belly button. She had so much fat around that it almost looks like it's winking at you, right? And then afterwards, you can see how it's all tight and opened up. Okay, so really big change there. Okay, so that's to give you an idea of some of the cases that we've worked on. It's a pretty good variety. For our patients that are serious about their fat loss and they don't just want to do like a one trial offer, that they actually go through with our recommendations for whatever their goals are, that we do have nutrition built right into the program. And the reason is that, like I said before, a lot of people just aren't healthy enough to burn fat. So the first thing that we start with is Body Balance. This is a liquid organic whole food supplement. It's primarily sea vegetables and aloe vera. I've been taking it for over a year. My entire family takes it. And I pretty much put all of my patients on it. And I can tell you that a lot of people lose weight just simply from being on Body Balance. Average weight loss is anywhere from 10 to 20 pounds over the first 3 months. And it's just because it does a really good job at helping to gently detoxify your colon. I've had patients not lose weight on it. I've had patients lose 5 pounds in a week. Everybody's different. But again, the reason we're giving it is to make sure that your body has all the minerals and enzymes and vitamins so that you can metabolize the fat once we release it. We also use True Boost. This is a formulated product that's designed to keep cortisol levels down. Because if you're massively stressed out, like a lot of us, or if you're not getting enough sleep, then cortisol, and by the way, cortisol is the only hormone that increases with age, and it's the hormone that causes men to deposit fat right here, and then women here and here. Okay? So we want to make sure that we're controlling that. We also use Amino Charge, which is a high quality protein shake, and we do this because the protein obviously satiates you so that you don't eat as much, but also does a really good job at keeping your blood sugar levels stable so that you burn more fat throughout the day. In fact, we do recommend that as a meal replacement for either breakfast or lunch. And then we do the herbal wraps because as you lose the fat and you get inch loss, we want to make sure that the skin's pulling tight and contouring with it. You don't want loose skin. And this is a really important part of the plan, and sometimes our patients don't do it. And I can tell you that you'll always get better results if you make sure that you follow the recommendations with the herbal wraps. And then of course with the nutritional counseling, that's pretty much what we already went over earlier. You know, I mean, if you're having a lot of refined carbohydrates, sugar, and alcohol, that's going to shut off your body's fat-burning mechanism. And you know, again, we want to, that's up to you. That's entirely out of our control. But if you really want to get the best results possible, no sugar and alcohol, and eliminate or reduce as much as possible foods that turn into sugar. Okay, you want to be focusing on lots of lean protein and lots of vegetable and salads. And one of the great things that you can remember to maximize your fat loss while you're on this program is the 3 F's. Fresh, fiber, first. Okay? Start every meal with a big salad, raw vegetables, and then eat whatever you normally eat after that. Okay, that's going to have a myriad of health benefits for you, but the roughage is also going to help to clear you out because the average American has anywhere from 10 to 20 pounds of undigested fecal matter in their colon, which is a lovely thought. Okay, and with the Body Balance and eating fiber, not only does that clear out, when that clears out, you're a lot healthier, you have more energy, but you have to understand that when you got that much stuck in your colon like the average American, that pushes your stomach out. Okay, and so that's another way that we can help accentuate inch loss and help you to drop sizes and get into your skinny jeans. Okay, some of the really common questions we get is, are there any risks? No, cold lasers have been used for over 15 years and they're just incredibly safe. There's no known side effects other than head-slappingly obvious stuff. Like if you have a pacemaker, we're not going to put it over a pacemaker. Or if you're pregnant, we don't do the abdomen, obviously. Okay. And if you have active cancer, we don't put it over a tumor. Okay. But other than completely obvious stuff like that, there's really no known contraindications or side effects. Is the procedure painful? No. Unlike with lipo or with freezing or something like that. That's why they call it a cold laser. You won't even feel it. It's like, it's like that. Okay. You don't feel it. It's like putting a flashlight onto your skin. When can you expect to see the results? Well, I think we've already kind of covered that pretty well. Most often you'll see a result just from even one visit. It doesn't mean that you'll be done in one visit or be where you want in one visit. And again, you can't guarantee this with every single person, but the vast majority of people will have a measurable result even after one session. And then how do you maintain your new physique? Well, obviously by following through with the dietary, nutritional, and exercise recommendations that we make for you while you're on the program. I think I skipped over one, or it's not in here. I think my slide got erased, but I'm just going to go over what a typical program is. With a typical program, obviously we have to do candidate clearance, and we do pre and post measurements. And for those of you that are going to be on a plan, we do pre and post pictures as well, so that we can document and validate all of your inch loss. Okay. And what happens is you come in here and we put you on the table for about 40 minutes and laser you. Okay. And once you're done lasering, we take you off and we put you on concentrated oxygen. Why? Because that fat that's released from the cells that goes into the bloodstream, once it's in the presence of oxygen, it gets burned and converted into energy for your body to use. So we put you on concentrated oxygen, and we put you on the ViBplate, a whole body vibration platform, which is really just, it's an amazing thing. It's the latest in strength training and conditioning. All the Olympians and pro athletes are now using these for massive muscle gains, and it's been a godsend for rehabilitation as well. But the reason we put you on it is that after we laser all the fat and get it loose, this is going to shake every cell in your body, and it's going to drive the fat into the lymphatic system so it can dump into the digestive tract and get out your body. Okay. The other thing that you'll notice is, not many, but I think 2 patients have reported being a little sore after their first time on it, just because the company research for this thing says that 10 minutes on that ViBplate is worth an hour of aerobic exercise. So you have to understand that it's not just fat loss. There's going to be a lot of toning and tightening, and getting a little bit of muscle while you're on the program as well. Now, after that, still on the concentrated oxygen, we're going to have you do a little bit of exercise. And you can refuse this if you absolutely want to, but it's to your own detriment. Understand though, I am not talking about long hours of arduous exercise. You exercise, as hard as you can for 60 seconds. Does that sound reasonable? Okay? Because if it's not, then probably no one can help you. Okay? So, and you're still on oxygen, but we've got this amazing little sprint stepper called the Exciser. And this thing, I found out about it 6 months ago, and it changed my personal routine, so I became the only dealer for them in Hawaii. But we put you on it, and you go as hard as you can for 60 seconds, and then you rest, and you do that 2 more times. Now the reason, it has to be maximal effort, burst type sprinting activity, and the reason that we do that is that that's anaerobic exercise, and anaerobic exercise burns sugar, right? So remember what we were talking about before, sugar and fat are in your blood at the same time. So you come in here, you haven't eaten anything for an hour, and then we just basically have you just sprint all the sugar out of your blood real quick, okay? Because then once we get all the sugar out of your blood, what's your body going to use for energy? Right, the fat, exactly. And so it's kind of an ingenious system that we've devised here. Because, again, when we saw the results of the FDA study and we saw, wow, this thing is really going to actually move the fat across the cell and get it out of the cell, what we did is we just basically designed an entire program that once it's out of the cell, mobilize it and get it out of the body, or incinerate it and burn it for fuel. Okay, so you do just 3 minutes of exercise to burn the sugar out, because once you've done that, your body's going to start burning fat. How long is your body going to burn fat? Good call, but yeah.
Until you put sugar back into
You're correct, but you got the answer I was looking for. Right until you put sugar into it. So understand, when you leave here, you're a fat burning machine, and you get to burn fat as long as you want. When you're ready not to burn fat, go have some high carbohydrate foods or some sugar or some alcohol. And then you'll shut off the fat burning mechanism. So understand that really your results, they're largely up to you. Okay, and again, for the people that want to come here and do nothing, that'll still work. You'll still get a result. You're just not going to get nearly as an amazing result as you would have if you would, follow through with diet and exercise recommendations. Okay. And then, where is it? I don't have the other slide I'm looking for. The other big thing that it gets compared to is liposuction, but understand that people have this mistaken notion that with liposuction, you go in there and you suck out all the fat and you're done. But that's not reality. They got to do anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks of preoperative work, and then it is an actual surgery, so you need an anesthesiologist, which is obviously very expensive. And for the most part, it is safe. I mean, people don't usually die on the table, but it does happen. But the big thing is the post-surgical complications. A lot of people don't realize. There's a lot of times they get the fat clots, or they'll have blood clots and have a stroke. Even if everything goes well, you've got anywhere from 4 to 6 months of downtime, scarring, bruising, rehabilitation. Sometimes follow-up surgeries need to be done. And with the surgery, because they rip the actual fat cell out, if you gain weight later, because everyone's always, can it come back? If you do a surgery and you gain weight later, the fat cut can't come back to where they took it out because there's no cell there. And you have a really weird distribution of fat. And so a lot of times you have to do follow-up surgeries to smooth that out, okay? But the great thing about, liposurgery, what they can do, is they can pull 4 liters of fat out of a person one time. So I want you to know that this is not a cure for obesity. We're not looking to take a person 100 pounds overweight and get them to a normal BMI, in a month. But we can start them on that process, and we can accelerate it, give them a really good jump start. And understand, I think you guys have an understanding that really this program at its heart is a health program, because as we get rid of your fat, we're lowering your body mass index, and we just lowered your risk of cancer, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and all the major killers. Okay, so that's a pretty good overview of the program. Let me go ahead and field any questions that any of you have. I don't even really talk about her because her results were so good that people aren't going to believe it, and they're, oh, she's your wife, so she's going to back you up. But since I am talking about it, she lost 2 inches off of her abdomen in 1 session. And I don't want you to think that you're going to get that result, because you probably won't. I've never seen anyone else get that type of result. I didn't even believe it, but my staff swears that they triple checked it. And my wife went from a size 12 to a size 8 in less than 4 weeks. And she just wouldn't shut up about how great she felt. And I have so much energy, and that's the one thing that every single person, without exception, every single person that has gone through the program has said to me, I have so much energy and I feel so much better. And the reason is, first of all, you're taking world-class nutrition. Secondly, we've stabilized your blood sugar level, so you have a more even keel of energy throughout the day. And since you're switched over to fat-burning metabolism, you've just got a lot of energy to ride on. So that's the big thing that a lot of people would notice. So for a couple of minutes, assess your situation, make recommendations, and we'll go from there. Oh, right, obviously the big thing is cost. Most of you probably already know, since you came on Groupon, that the visits are priced at $500 per session. But when we put somebody onto a plan where they're 3 or 4 weeks, we're not charging them $6,000. We put people on a group plan that has a set price. And I want you to know that you guys are getting an amazing deal at $199. Okay, we pretty much never, give something away that cheap. So we've really done something special with the Groupon people. And of course, for any of you that have already bought a Groupon, or maybe if you bought more than one, and you'd like to go through a program here, whatever the program cost is for you, we just deduct whatever you've already paid to Groupon, so that you can just follow right through with the program. Okay, but the way the price works is essentially it's by surface area, number of body parts, but really it's surface area. And essentially what it is the number of pad placements that we can fit into an hour, and then of course what your goals are and what you want, what you want to accomplish. So that's what we're going to go ahead and figure out now for everyone. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Thank you.